think the best thing I can do is just tell you about myself, my background, and then I would hope based on that you can decide what kind of a person, what kind of a judge I am. I was born and raised in Stevens County. I graduated from Colville High School, and I do come from humble beginnings. Some of my best childhood memories are from the times that I spent with my grandparents on their farm here in Stevens County. When I graduated from Gonzaga University and later the law school, I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. During law school, I married my late husband, who was Steve Tveit. He was just starting out at that time as a forester working for Boise Cascade. Some of you may have known him as he became very involved in the political side of the business, and he spent a lot of time in Olympia working on the environmental issues that at that time threatened the private landowners in the forestry industry. He later became the regional timberlands manager for Boise. My life was forever changed when Steve was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer in 2005. Our kids were 8 and 10, and after 19 years of marriage, Steve lost his battle. He passed away in 2007. I know firsthand what a blessing it is to live here in Stevens County with the support of family, of friends, and a church community. And I also am happy to say I've been doubly blessed, and I've now met and married my husband, Farron. And together we share the priority of raising our family and our children, or raising our children and our family as our priority. Now, naturally, as a judge, I bring my personal experiences with me to the bench. I am grateful to my family for instilling in me the values of working hard, of treating people with respect, of accepting responsibility for your actions, and being true to your word. I did work in private practice for 5 years here in Colville. And then later I accepted a position at the prosecutor's office where I worked for 14 years as a deputy prosecutor. And then I was appointed to the bench by the Board of County Commissioners in 2009 when Judge Pam Payne retired. I was then elected in 2010, and I'm now running for re-election. This campaign has been very difficult in that my opponent has been aggressively negative from the get-go. He is spending an unprecedented amount of money, I think, for a local judge race. I can't think of, in my 25 years of being in the legal business here in Stevens County, I can't think of a judge race anywhere near similar to this. He only works one morning a week. Currently, he has apparently recently inherited a large sum of money, and so he he's spending a lot of money and a lot of time, a lot more time and money than I currently have to spend or to put into campaigning, as I am working full time. I did work with my opponent at the prosecutor's office for a number of years. I do have firsthand knowledge of his values and his suitability to serve as a judge. I will just tell you that my opponent and I are polar opposites in all respects, both personally and professionally. In my opinion, an elected official serves as a public trust, and I do vow to continue to conduct myself in a manner that ensures the greatest possible public confidence. I do ask for your support in the upcoming election, and I thank you again for letting me be here, and God bless. And I will certainly remain available for any questions that anyone might have.
Who was your grandparents?
Merle and Florence Enright.
Oh, you them well.
Yeah.
You said Merle Enright?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's my grandfather.
Larry's your cousin?
Larry's
Sure.
my mother's cousin.
Okay.
And they grew up next to, and then Earl Enright, of course, had the farm next door.
Oh, yeah.
And now Steve Furman has bought both of those properties. But, yeah, great memories. Had just really got to experience a simpler way of life. Just doing, washing clothes with the wringer washer for real. It wasn't for fun and games, just doing all of the things, basic, hard work, frugal. I'm sure that's a huge part of the values that I carry with me today.
I guess the other thing I'd ask is, a lot of what we're going to talk about today is going to be the wolf issue and the private property rights and those kind of things. I don't know I don't know how often that kind of stuff comes before your court, but does that come before the Stevens County Court very often, or is that more gonna be in a state court?
I mean, I don't know how it would come into court. I mean, what I deal with would be someone's charged with a crime, typically. So I would imagine a lot of those issues are gonna be dealt at the legislative level. I don't really know that for sure. Unless, you know, of course, someone could probably be charged with a crime.
If there were game department crimes, would those come before
They
the
do,
court?
I do handle game department crimes.
If the game department is our prosecutor, then how are they dealt? Who prosecutes?
The prosecutor's office, of course, receives all of the reports, and the prosecutor's office is who makes charging decisions.
Right.
Who to charge, when to charge, what to charge, if to charge. So once they're charged, they are filed in district court, and so that would be, game cases are cases that I do preside over.
Okay. I know part of that's prosecutor questions.
Right.
But if the prosecutor decided to charge them, the prosecutors, if their game department issues, the prosecutors, then is that right? He would be the one prosecuting?
Yes.
Okay.
The game department being a law enforcement agency, just as if the sheriff department investigates a case and puts together a complaint and takes that to the prosecutor, or the City of Caldwell Police Department. It's just another law enforcement agency that the prosecutor's office receives complaints from.
Can you tell me at all how, if there were things like that, they're not always tried before a county court, are they? Or are they, how's it decided which ones depend on the crime? Some of those are going to be charged in state courts or that kind of thing?
Well, unless, district court hears misdemeanors, gross misdemeanors on the criminal level, so if something rose to the level of a felony, it would be filed in Superior Court. Then I suppose you might even be at times dealing with federal crimes, which of course would be in Spokane in the federal court.
So unless if they were state charges, so they would be dealt with locally?
Yes.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Excuse me, Tim. I don't see too much news probably, but I did on television, I think it was Thurston County, the game department said they're no longer prosecuting fishing and small game violations because of lacking in funds. I know that people that are opposed to that decision said, well, we might just as well put a sign in Thurston County saying open fishing season, no license required. Can you comment on what's going on, or have you heard this?
I haven't heard that. I do know that the game department does charge fishing and hunting violations on a regular basis here.
It was reported that due to lack of funds, the Fish and Wildlife Department was not going to prosecute cases because of the time and effort, and you know, they're really short of money and short of manpower, and they've only got an agent for every 10 citizens or so. Anyway, you haven't heard, but I just heard it one night.
Okay. And so I have not seen that type of decision being made here in Stevens County. Okay.
Given your